I was thinking about checks and balances, kind of in the context of the government shutdown. Checks and balances were never created as a kind of oversight method to allow for or to invite blatant obstructionism. That's just not what the checks and balances system was designed for. The point was that no one group, no one individual, no one area of government get too much power. And by definition, when I think about this government shutdown, if one party on one side of Congress, the House rather than the Senate, is able to shut down government and hold the entire country hostage because they don't want to fund a law that went through the process of becoming a bill and becoming a law, or do something as common as, having a president raise the debt ceiling, if that was the reason they wanted to hold the country hostage. Isn't that evidence, Lewis, that the checks and balances system is not working?
Clearly, it's not working. And I think it's possible that perhaps there were just all sorts of laws tweaked and changes made to the original framework over the years that allowed this to happen, of course, made by people who want things like this to be able to happen, or it was just assumed in the beginning that this type of obstructionism would never happen. I mean, who would do that? I mean, presumably these people want to help the country progress, and that would just be unheard of, right?
Well, in the same way that when we talk about the Second Amendment, and we have to recognize if you are at all a clear thinking and logical, rational individual, you have to realize that we can't apply a vague bit of legal text written hundreds of years ago when firearms meant muskets and you could fire one round per minute. It's very illogical to take that and assume that it applies broadly to automatic weapons, shoulder-mounted RPGs, however far you want to take it. I believe that it doesn't make sense, that you can't really draw that line. It would only follow from that the checks and balances system from hundreds of years ago may also not have taken into consideration what some individuals in Congress would try to do. The difference is, Lewis, that with the firearms, it's very specifically tied to simply not knowing the technological developments that would allow certain types of firearms to exist. Whereas with this, obstructionism could have existed hundreds of years ago and certainly did. And there's no technological mechanism that would explain why the framers who set up the checks and balances system wouldn't have taken this into consideration. That's where I'm struggling with it.
Right. If you think about this, no successful modern day civilization that is over a few hundred years old has completely clung to whatever they originally started with to get things rolling, to get their governments moving, to establish control. So I don't see why we're doing that. I mean, things change. The rules need to change. We need to update them.